Hi, I'm Dan from Real Mac Software, and welcome to this week's Elements Developer Diary. Now, for the last few weeks, we've been looking at globals and how powerful they are, but this week we're going to change tack slightly, and I thought it might be good to try and put together a site from a reference template, and you could kind of see how that process might work and get more of an idea of how you might use Elements. So, I've had a look around and I found a template I want to try and copy. So I've been finding this really useful in when we're developing Elements, is to go and have a look at some templates, some pre-made websites, and to try and copy them to make sure we've got the tools that allow us the flexibility to build anything you want. So I've had a look at this, and I think I can build this in Elements now. So we're going to jump right in and we'll refer back to this. So this might be a bit of a long video because I'm going to go through and literally build this as I'm doing this video. So we've got Elements, and let's open a new document. It opens on the mobile view first, and we can just make that bigger and go up to desktop. There, let's call this page home because this is going to be our home page. And one thing when I'm using Elements, what I usually like to do is go and pick a default theme. These are all very much in development themes that are not finished, and they kind of just change the colors and the styles of things. And we haven't touched on this in a while, but for now, while I'm building sites and testing things, I always use this one. We call this one Tailweaver because it's kind of like the default theme based on Tailwind, with a bit of a Rapid Weaver twist on it. So I go for this one, and that's a good starting point. Now let me tab back over to the site we're copying here. So with this we could drop a menu bar in. So I'm going to go over to Elements, and let's have a look here. Let's change that because sometimes this doesn't refresh. Here's our menu, so I'm going to drop that in, and this gives us a basic menu which is a lot like this one, but we're going to need to do some customization. Let's add some more pages so we can get, let's zoom in on this, so we can get these other things here. So we've got services, portfolio, and division. Right, services, portfolio, and one more, division. There we are. So that's those pages created, and now that's added them to the menu here. So that's looking pretty good. And I wonder if I can I was hoping we would have been able to, there we are. There, so now I've got it here. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. So let's get the logo in there and change the rollovers, and we also need a button in there as well. So let's do that. So I found this template, and I have exported a logo so we can use it for this project here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the settings. Now, these settings here are kind of a hangover from Rapid Weaver Classic. So I don't need these things here. But they're all hooked up, and we plan to redo this general settings area. We're going to modernize this and move it somewhere else, but we haven't got around to that yet, but it does still work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my site logo in here. And then when I come back to here, on my menu, I'm going to select my menu, and we're going to change the what it's using at the moment. It's for the menu here, the menu title, sorry. We're going to change what that's using. We don't want it to use the title, we want it to use the site logo. So now that should have updated to use the site logo, but it hasn't. Oh, and I know exactly why, because I've changed it on the mobile logo. So if I went down here, I think that would be in our menu. Yes, it's in our menu. So what we need to do, we need to change to the desktop logo. So if I change that, there we are. Right. So now that is using the the logo. That's looking pretty good. Oh, that's why it's not updating properly. Okay, because we were on the preview, so it wasn't live, quite live like it is in the edit mode. So there we go. So let's get that roughly how big we want it. And we've got these menu items as well. And we want those to be light grey. So let's have a look. Yeah, we'll go light grey with those. And then we've got a purple rollover at the moment, which I think we probably want black. So it's darker. There we go. Let's get that. Yep, that's pretty good. And we're using the base. We could make them smaller. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. We're getting there. And we need a button in the we need a button up here as well. So let's drop that in there. And now this, let's zoom out a little bit. On this preview of this template, we would need this primary color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my colors, and I'm going to look for my, if I override the primary color here, that means all the new elements I add they're often by default, they're using the primary color. So rather than me creating another color here and, you know, calling this clean tech, I mean, I could do this. I could pick this as clean tech and pick that color there. And then on my button here, I could pick clean tech. But that means every time I drop on a new thing here, it's going to be using, like, these are using the primary color, and I would have to go through and always pick this. Whereas what I really want to do is override the primary color. Where are we here? So we hit this little duplicate button, go up to the top, and on the primary color, I actually, let's change that. And now that means whenever I drop in a new item, it's going to use that primary color is going to be the that kind of purpley blue color, which is perfect. So let's change that to primary, and let's get this back here. And yeah, so that button's let's get this. There's quite a lot of padding on that. Let's bring that down. Let's make the button a bit bigger. And let's have a look. We probably want the text smaller as well. And that says contact us. Contact us. Oops. Why can I never hit the keyboard correctly when I'm doing these videos? There we are. And you'll notice when I roll over this is getting bigger. And that is because we have, you can change on the, you can change the rollover style for your fonts as well. We want that to be small. There we are. So yeah, because I had the fonts at different sizes, when I roll over it, whoop, which is fine, but we don't, you know, if you want that effect, but we don't want that. We just want a nice little darkened rollover there, which is cool. All right. I might actually, let's just increase that because that looks the height there. All right. And we could take off the both the background. Well, I'm taking off the radius here for the curvature on this, on both the standard and the hover. So now we've got a nice custom menu there. We're using our purple, so we've set up the primary color. We've got some nice fonts. And talking of fonts, what I did notice on here, the typeface, we could update the typeface. And let's do that. So I'm going to go into fonts and I'm going to add a new, well, there's a couple of ways of doing this. We could override these and pick the plus Jakarta Sans font, or we could do a new one. Let's do that. And we will call this one Clean Tech. So I know that this is my font that we want for this site. And what was it? Plus Jakarta, there we are. Set that up, and now on my button, let's change. We want, if I close these, we want the fonts on the hover and the fonts on the normal, and we'll change that to Clean Tech, and we need that on the rollover as well. So there we go. So now that's using. Ooh, let's come out of preview again. So that's using that, and let's have a look here. We want the desktop items, and we'll change that. So you can see they update there. And we could change it for the mobile items as well. Not that I'm not really going to spend time designing the mobile one today. I mean, we could look at how that's going to work on the grid, but we can get to that. All right, so now we've got this nice menu set up, and we are looking similar to this, and we're using the colors, and we picked the font, so that's all good. And now let's get on to moving this, let's get on to building this next little section of the site. So, all right. What we want. So when I'm building these layouts, I often start with a section because this is a great wrapper for sections of content. And it gives me some nice control in here, but I'm not going to do too much with it yet. Let's just add a bit of padding to start with. So I've got my section, and this is good if you want to color the background and kind of that, well, that section style. But in a section, I'm then going to drop a container, and this is going to contain my site to to the containers that I've set up in here, to the screen sizes. I can not add a container in there, but what will happen when I add a grid, the grid will run full width, and that's fine if I want a full width site. But on here, I don't think this would run full width. Like, you're often, you often want it to stop at 1280 on an extra large device, for example, or 1024. So that is why I often put in a container there. And now I'm going to drop in, let me just check this. I think a grid would be best here because it's kind of a 2-column view. So I'm going to drop in a grid. I'm going to get rid of these grid items, and let's have a look. This is a little bit larger, this left-hand item. So I'm going to make that maybe 8 columns or 7 or 8. Maybe we'll go 8. And so on here, I need to come down a little bit to get that to fit in on our 12 column grid. And I talked about this a long time ago, how this works. These elements are working on a 12 grid setup. So here, if I put this little preview on, you can see I've got this is 12 grids there. And it helps you align things, especially when we're doing complex layouts. So I've got my 2 grid items set up for these columns, and we need some text at the top. So I'm going to drop the heading in. I want that to be our Clean Tech font. That is great. And I want it to be bigger. I wonder, oh yeah, I can, even though this is an image, I can copy this text thanks to Mac OS. There we are. Now this font is a bit heavier, and I could do this a couple of ways to mirror this. I could override the font here, or I could go into the fonts, and let me just check, that's on 6XL. So I could either do that, or I could come in here and override this for all 6L styles. I'm just going to use this override option here and then increase the weight because I'm not sure where else we're going to use this, so I'm just going to do it. This is kind of the quick, cheeky, hacky way to do it. Less consistent, really, I suppose. So that's looking pretty good. And then we need, we've got 2 items here. And I think, oh, is that going to let us copy all that text? Come on, macOS. There we go. There we go. So we're going to need another heading in there. And if I was building this site, I'd probably say this is my H1 tag. So I'd put that on H1. And then let's get that a bit smaller. Oh, that's quite a lot smaller. Let's put that at large. And, you know, you could put this as a subheading. So I could say this is H2. Yeah, let's leave it at large. And then we need a button in here. So let's get that in there. Now there's no spacing here because we've just thrown these 2 items into our grid item. And I think we ideally we probably do need a bit of spacing there. And what is good in those situations is a flex box. So let's throw a flex box in. And I often come over to the node browser just to check I've placed the item I want in the right place. So we want to put the heading in the first flex box and the button in the second one. And the button squishes up because of the flex box. It's kind of, you can set it here how the button should behave. So it was on auto before, and we want it on full to fill this area. We also want this on full as well. We might need to change the top flex box on there. Set that to stretch. There we go. So that then fills the content. I've got the flex item here, and I'm saying on this layout, I want the items in it to kind of align to stretch to fill the area. Let's have a look. What we could do, I mean, I could turn this button into a global to use here as well, but by the looks of things we want them linked to different places, our work, so I won't do that. And they also look different. So let's quickly change the way these look. The background, so we want the background as white, I think, yes. And the fonts, we want the fonts or the text as purple. Perfect. And we want a border radius on it. And let's do that custom, and we'll just set this to 1 on each side. Let's come off of that. So now we've got a curvy button there, and we want to take off the border radius. And we could leave it in purple. Well, I think it's grey on this one, so we could just turn that to a grey colour. Nice. And then we'll do the same. Well, what we could do, I'm thinking, well, we just need to change this hover because the hover button does not have, hasn't got a border on it yet. And we probably want to add a border so that they both match, like the standard size and the hover. Excuse me, all this talking, got a bit of a gravelly voice there. Okay. Now let's see, where were we? We're on the border style. I could change that to purple. So now when we roll over, that matches. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so we've got our header there. And maybe if I hide this, you can see that this is contained into this area here. And if I move the grid out of the container, it's going to run full width. So that is why I put in a container. But it's nice having the items built up like this so that you get full control and you can decide how you want your content displayed. Because we could have made the section contain things, but these base elements, we really wanted them to be really powerful and flexible. So some of the settings can be a little bit confusing because they're so powerful, but we didn't want to hide things or hinder you in building this stuff. So that's why we kind of built it the way we did. We thought it's better that you can learn these tools and learn what all the settings do. And yeah, and that's why these are like these. And then we've got these simpler sections for those people that don't want to learn how to put together how to build these layouts up, because because if I wanted something like this, I could drop on one of these. We'll have ones like this, so you don't have to build things by hand. We'll have these pre-built ones, but we're not using those today because we're kind of building things up as we go. I'm going to create some more space, I think, there. Get that looking a bit nicer. Yeah, I mean, and I could continue, if I wasn't doing this video, I would continue to hone this and really, I'd make this button slimmer, that's on the sizing, but we don't. I'm going to do it now. Now we're talking about I'm doing it. So that's, but I could tweak these things a lot more to get it looking closer to this, or something I'm even happier with. But let's plow on and let's get this done, because I think this is quite an interesting layout and quite tricky to do. And again, I'm going to use a section here, a trusty old section. And then in here we are going to, let's use, I'm going to put a container in here because I want it to be the same width. And then let's pop on a grid, because I think this looks like a grid to me. Smaller item here, that looks very small, like 3, and then we'll make that one bigger. It is so nice to work with the grids like this. I absolutely love it. That I don't think, would you say that's half? Maybe that is half. It's so nice just to be able to play around with these. Let's go like that and see this all happening live, how you want your grid laid out. It's and I could add more of these. I often go to here, I could just duplicate that. It's really great stuff, this grid. Makes it so easy to build up these layouts. It's one of my favorite aspects to building sites with elements here. Right, so we've got these. What I didn't do, unsplash. I'm going to get some solar pictures, so we can, where's the design, so we can make up this. We want something similar. Let's download this one. Can I do that? Or actually, what I'm going to do, we don't really need the high reses here because these are just for placements. I'm going to drop these to the side. Yeah, let's do that one. And oh, that's actually we've actually found that one. That's the same image they're using. So I guess that's the thing with all these templates people build. They've obviously just gone to Unsplash, looked for some solar images, bam, on the first page, there they are. Let's look for, what would that might be, a wind, is that a wind farm? Would you call that a wind farm? Yup. There's some pretty similar photos there. I was wondering if we could find the same one. But maybe not. Maybe no. Is that it? Yes, it is. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. We've got some similar images. So now, we're going to drop some images in here. Let's drop these in. So each one has an image. And we're just going to go through. And let's get our images. So I could drop these into here. There we are. And let's have a look. Yeah, that's that one. So I'm going to use that one there. And I had the yellow one. I'm going to use that one there. And let's see, I'll use that one there. And we'll drop that one in there. All right, so so we've got our grid and we've dropped our images in, but it's not looking much like this. So let's go back over here. Now this is where things get a little bit complicated to set up on this. So we're going to try and feel our way through and do this, because I'm feeling very under pressure now to get this right. Yes, okay. All right. So I finally got there. We obviously sped through that bit because I was kind of tinkering around with these images. Or tinkering around with the settings, looking for the right thing. So, as I said before, these elements are quite complex, and to know the settings to use, it takes a bit of getting used to. And Ben's been adding a lot of these new settings because I said, oh, I need to do this. And so he's added some settings, you know, and it's kind of getting used to it and learning this process. And because we're building the software, it's like every day this stuff is new. We're building new stuff. But it's really powerful. So these ones are kind of like the high-end pro elements that allow you to do what you do with CSS, which is also complex in a visual manner. So we've got our top thing working here, and now we need to do the this bottom grid. So let's make this probably we just want to make that let's set our height there, probably 300. Oh, let's get a bit more padding on this so we can see underneath. Put that on 20. There we are. Where's my image? Yeah, so I'm doing my image 300 pixels wide there, which looks about the same as this. Let's get that part, which looks about the same as this. And now we just need, on this one, we need to tell the image to be full on the height. And on the grid item, we need to stretch so that it fills the area. All right. So now we've made that, although all the images have got curved edges, which we don't want. So I can select all of those and just switch the curved edges off. That's looking pretty good. Go over to preview. They are not converting yet. That's why they didn't appear. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. And we could, you know, we could change these breakpoints for mobile if we wanted to. We could go and do that. Right, and then we could quickly put this together. I don't have these icons, but that's not a problem. So let's just quickly do this. Let's do another section down. Oops, another section down there, and we want a container. And maybe I'll just do another grid here, but I'll go, and then we need a grid and some flexes in that. So I'll probably just put these as 12 and this one, because this will give us some flexibility. Right, and then let's put a flex here. And we want to do some text. Let's drop in a heading. I'm gonna retype that. Who are we? That as macOS didn't get that. Didn't copy that very well. Whoops! And now we've lost the design. Let's go down here. Oh, that's annoying. Right, why is it doing that? Let's try and copy this text. Oh, yeah, got it. Get another heading in there. Oh, there we are. Okay, we're going to change this heading to our CleanTech font. So you can see how I probably should have changed the heading in here to be our CleanTech plus Jakarta Sans font. I should have done that really, because now every time I add a heading, I'm having to do this. And that's kind of why it's important to set up your defaults. All right, let's have a look. Flex item, align. We want these to be at the start. And let's pick the other one. So alignment at the start of the flex box. That's looking good. We need this text to be very, very small. I can say who we are. Let's make that our color there. Oops, there we are, purple. And we need it to be small. And we need it to be uppercase. Yeah, that's pretty good. Might override that and increase the weight a little bit. Nice, that's looking good. Let's see. That is maybe looking a bit too big. And with the flex, we've got the gap there set to 8. But we could turn that down. So you can see that this changes the position between the flex, but like the spacing between each item. But let's do something like that. And this section, I want some more padding on this so we can see it. 40 is quite large. Let's put that down to 20. Excellent. And then we need to do this grid here, which again is probably a grid with some flex items in it, I'd say. So we go back over here, put our grid in. And my favorite grid. We've got 3. We've got 3 boxes we need, so let's make those all the right size. There we are. That's looking good. Yeah, so I've put my grid in my grid item, and we want a flex box in this first one. I'm just thinking there on my just wanted to create a bit of space there. So I'm changing the gutter size in between the 2 grid items. Yeah, okay. All right, so now we've got an icon up the top and some text there. Let's get the text in first, and then we'll do the icons. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. As is macOS gonna let me select that? Or it's gonna let me select some of it. Did that get all of it? I don't think it did. So again, with these flex items, we want these to be at the start. Oh, I should have selected both of them. We want them to be at the start, so we'll do that. Let's do a bit of lorem ipsum to fill this. agree. So we can let's take that text. Oh, that's not even Lorem Ipsum, that's explaining it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just kind of mocking this site up. So that's good. Get rid of that. We don't need that. And some icons. Now, what would I do for these icons? What I might do is I might do a new sketch document. Well, or no, actually, let's not. We probably might not even need to do this. Let's open SF icons. I don't think they will have any. Let's do a sun icon. Sun, that'll do. We'll get one of these, and we'll make it. Oh, hang on. Just so we can see these. Let's use that one. I wonder. I don't know. No, we might. I'm going to copy the symbol, open it up in here. Let's get an artboard. I'm just there. Let's do that. Add a background color just so we can see it. Right, let's get this exported. There. Don't include that in the export. So I'm just getting a PNG icon here that we can use. And you know, this is typically what I'd do if I was building a site. Okay, we've got the flex item. Let's put in an image there. And where's our sunshine? There's our sunshine. But what we need to do is we kind of need a background in there. So what the section is really flexible. So I'm going to use a section for that. Let's get it in our flex item. And on the section, let's make this our clean text color. Very good. And then, because that's a nice background for it. And then I just want to change the size of our icon. So we could set the 48, 68, not bad. Let's get rid of the curves on that. And let's go and check our site. Yeah. So, let's have a look. So that looks pretty good. I mean, I could spend more time here. We could spend some more time playing around with this and getting it looking exactly how we wanted. But you get the idea. This is essentially how I would build a site, and this is the process. And you could obviously go a lot deeper in this. I'm going to change the gap there because it was looking a bit far away. There we go. That's pretty good. And then let's have a look. I've got my flex. Then we could just duplicate this and put it in each item. Duplicate. I mean, last week, if we looked at last week, what I should do, what I could do is convert this little flex into a global. So let's convert that to a global, and then where's my globals? I can drop this in here. And any changes I make to this one goes to all of them. So if I changed this, yeah, look, we didn't change the clean text. We didn't change to the correct font. So now if I change that, they all change. And we could change the size of the font and the layout of it. So that's really handy, making those globals. And then I can just override these you know, if this section we wanted a different image, I could break that and pick something else. But I don't have a different icon, and you don't need to see me export it, so I won't do that. But, you know, if we wanted these, I could break that link, and I could make that a lighter color. Yeah, let's make this first one darker. And then this middle one we've got there. So it's a bit like a grad. And then this last one will break the color. And there we go. So, but they are still all linked. So, you know, that works. So that's looking good. This is looking very nice. And then we could finish off the site by putting in a footer, which I won't really do, but, you know, we could make that large and set the background color to that, and pop a container in. Let's just pop some text in there. Oops. That might be there we are. Align center. I'm gonna say that's a bug, but you just need to. I just need to learn how all of this works properly. Just getting used to it. And what was this? Clean Tech 2024. So that would be our footer. Blah blah blah. You know, we could build out some columns and things in there. But this, we've essentially built up a whole page here, and what's nice is it's using a lot of these settings in here. So we set up the Clean Tech color here, and what I can do is, you know, if I decided I want to change the look of my site, I could just change this color, and you can see these are all changing in our button here. We didn't we should have set that to the Clean Tech color as well. Oh, that's on the hover. Where's the background? There we are. Set that to Clean Tech. Yeah, so so that's pretty cool. Let's change that back to that purple. Lovely. And we could change the font here if we wanted to. So all very nice. And then if I wanted to get this on my other pages, I would create the globals and copy it across, you know, like we did last week. If you've not watched the global stuff from last week, you should go and do that, because we essentially did this. Turn off the padding. So that's where's our section? We're going to call this menu and header. So this is, if you haven't learned about globals, go and watch those other videos, because this, I really go into detail on it there. We convert this into a global, boom, and now we can use that on our other pages. So if I go to services, drop in our menu and header, boom, it's there. Menu and header, and it's on that page. Boom, menu and header, boom, and we can customize these. So now I've got my header on all the pages, and on services I can just override this text here and say this is our services page. Whoops, it's awesome. And now there we go, it's customized, and like I showed you last week, you know, this goes on here, this section. We could update this background and just pick a little light color if we wanted that on our, I'm doing that on the home page, but anyway, on the home page we could have that. That's pretty cool. And then on our other ones we want them white, so you know, you can override all these settings. Lovely stuff. Yeah, and that is, you know, again, like last week, I've quickly built up a 4-page website in the duration of this video. All right, that's it for this week. Hope you liked the video, and let me know what you think. Did that all make sense? Yeah, leave your comments, and we'll be back next week with another video. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.